Oh, here you go, friends. Here's a story for you. I may have told this story to a select few. I may have even done this story long ago, and it's back deep in the archives and probably lost one way or another. And I thought I should retell it while it's still knocking in my head a bit. It was the best darn story, uh, and I think you'll like it. Now, this, we got to go back, oh gosh, a number of years now, quite a few years back, to when I was living in North Carolina and I was a rescue person uh, and also a boiler advisor. I advised people on what to do with their steam boilers. And we're talking big steam boilers, not something from, down in the basement in your house, but these were boilers in some cases were bigger than your house by a, by a couple of times. I mean, these babies were, these were hot and mean if anything went wrong. But in any case, so I was a rescue person. I was a sergeant on the squad down in North Carolina, Wilson, North Carolina, and they used to have these stock car races every Saturday. Basically, from I'm just going off by my memory now, which I would say was say from sometime in March to maybe sometime in November. They on Saturday nights. I think it was Saturday nights. They'd have these dirt track oval races, and it's these wild stock cars like Dukes of Hazard type of cars, all set to take a hit. They had all the roll bars and the guards and stuff, but still things could happen. And so what they often did was they would assign a rescue uh, an ambulance to go down and just kind of sit there in the pits so that someone's there right away if something goes horribly wrong. And that was my duty that one night. I'm there with a couple of the guys. Maybe one gal was on the squad too. And we're watching the races go by, first race, second race. I don't know. There, all of a sudden, there's this other race happening. We're watching it, and all of a sudden, man, this guy goes out of control, flips end over end, bang, rolls, hits the side, hits the guardrails, and comes back and hits the inside rails, and oh man, I'm telling you, upside down, and uh, it didn't, and with the car kind of just spinning around, you know, like this in the dirt. And, oh, of course, we didn't have to be told twice. We're in the ambulance and flying down there. Everybody's on their feet, praying this guy ain't dead. And we get in there and we get to the scene, and there he is. He's in the car, but his hand has gone between the roll bar. I guess with all the commotion or uh, the the stress and such, somehow or another, one of his hands gets caught. He gets his hand caught right at the wrist between the roll bar and the roof of the car, and the car's flipped on its top. So the car's spinning around a little bit. It finally stopped, but he's in there with his hand being crushed, and he's stuck. I mean, how do we get him out? Well, other people came running to his aid, and we basically, well, I crawled in since I was the lightest. I crawled in, said, "How you doing, sir?" He said, "Oh my God, my hand hurts so bad." And I said, "Okay, we're going to do what we can. Let me just look real quick. Okay, here." I holler, "Fellas, what you got to do is lift him on the right side, and I think I can pull the hand out from between the roll bar and the roof." Okay, so, but you got to hold it. Don't shake it. See, people were shaking the car. And that was so the darn roll bar is coming down on his hand. So that's hurting something awful. So they finally lift up the car carefully, and I pull it out slowly and splint it up, and we get him out of there. because even getting them out of there, we were in a hurry because, I'm thinking racing fuel. There, something's ready to pop or a spark, or some goofball comes here with a cigarette. We got a fire. And I'm in here and this poor guy's in here. So, and those fires, you can't outrun a guy, that fuel in a stock car racer. You'd be lucky. That thing would probably blow you all the way down to Texas. So we get him out. I've got him stabilized, and we load him into the ambulance. And here comes his daughter, screaming and yelling, "My daddy, what's going on?" Oh, she might have been in the pits, or perhaps was watching the race from one of the interior viewing stands. But now she's there, and she is shook. And we said, "Ma'am, what's your name?" "Mary." "Mary, he's going to be okay, but he hit his hand real bad. We got to get him to the ER. You want to ride along? Come on with us." She says, "I'm coming." And in she goes. And other people said they'd pick her up and him up. I said, I don't think he's going to wind up staying in the hospital, but still, you need someone to pick you up. She says, "Okay." And she, like I said, she hollered to someone to come get her in a bed. And she's saying, "Daddy, how you doing?" He said, "Oh, it hurt something awful, dear, but I think it'll be okay." And I said, "Now, sir, could you just show me? Let me just check your fingers. I want to see that you're getting blood flow." "Okay. Yep. Okay. That's good. Can you wait? Are any of the fingers so painful you can't wiggle them, or you're up, at the palm of your hand?" He says, "No, no." He said, "Oh, that one finger hurts. The pointing finger kind of." I said, "Well, I saw that was underneath, between the roll bar and the roof, and the other fingers seem okay." "Good." I said, "Let's get you." So we stabilized it, got him in a splint, and all this while we're in the ambulance. Get to the hospital, drop him off, drop the girl off, and she said her other people would come to pick her up at the ER, and I said, "Okay, very good." And we left it at that. We found out, I think, a day or so later, that he was going to be okay. It was mostly, he wasn't going to be, unless he wanted to drive one-handed, which is a little hard to do when you're trying to shift and drive. He was going to be a while before he raced, but he wasn't done with racing. And I remember, I think this is how it happened. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but one day I'm at the squad hall, just kind of hanging out, waiting for the next calamity. And the dispatcher calls me and he says, "South, you got someone here to see you." Boy, she's pretty too. It says, "Oh, geez." So I go walking into the dispatcher room, and he said, "There she is, right over there." I said, "Oh my gosh, you're the girl whose dad got hit by was in the wreck back at the Speedway last Saturday." I said, "How's he doing?" She said, "Well, he's fine. He's fine. He's cantankerous as ever, and he's going to be in the races next this coming Saturday." And I said, "Oh man, you sure he's okay?" "Well, he's all splinted up, and he won't hear anything about it. He says he can shift, or he may have put some kind of new transmission that he can just by hitting the pedal he can shift. I don't know. The point is he was going to be in the darn race." I said, "You sure that's a good idea after what he's been through?" She said, "He's been through worse, but I was mighty scared of him, and I'm so pleased that you crawled in without even worrying about yourself and got him out, because that car could have caught fire." I said, "Yeah, I know, but it's what we do." She says, "I brought you something." And here's what she did. She says, "I just thought you'd like this. It's something I like to do for a hobby, and I made one for you." and she hands me a wallet. I said, "No, ma'am, I can't take any money." No, she says, no money in here. Well, she says there's a quarter, but the quarter's for good luck. You're not supposed to spend it. I said, okay. I said, well, wait a minute. What's this? What's this wallet made out of? She says, believe it or not, I make things out of duct tape. I said, duct tape? I said, I'll be duct tape. She says, yeah. She says, that's a perfectly good wallet, not a sticky point in it. It's all made of duct tape, and it's a wallet just for you. I said, I'm kind of touched. That's very nice of you. And I'm looking at it. It had all the different things a wallet would have, and none of it's sticky. I could put what few dollar bills I had, I could stick in the wallet. There was room for my cards, my EMT card, my license. All the stuff I need was in this beautiful duct tape wallet. And there was nothing in it that showed that it was going to fall apart. As long as the glue held, to stick them on the duct tape. I'll tell you, long story short, I had that wallet for like 3 years. Oh, I loved it. And now and then we'd see that girl. I think I took her and her dad out to dinner because this was a wild wreck. And I remember offering to do that. I think we went to a Piggly Wiggly or something, or a McDonald's, and had some hamburgers. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't like, proposing marriage or nothing. Oh, she was a pretty girl. But it was, or proposing anything else now that I think about it. It's just now and then I'd see her at the stock car race, ask her how her dad was. Well, he's in the third race, fourth car. I said, okay, good. And I'm sure she had a good boyfriend, and far be it from me to mess that up. But I had that wallet. I'll bet you that wallet lasted 2 years. I'm thinking of at least that, maybe more. And somehow one day it just kind of fell apart, and well, that was that. Or I lost it, or what have you, or I don't know. But long story short, I don't have it again. I don't have it anymore. And I wish I knew where that girl was, but she's down in North Carolina, and let's see, that was so many years ago. She'd be about my age. She'd probably be in her high 60s, which is, I'm older than that, but doggone. That was a cool item. I'm surprised some company didn't make those. It's and sell them, like at Walmart and stuff. Your duct tape wallet. It was the best darn idea. And again, the old timer, yeah, he won a few races now and then. Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, you definitely didn't get in his way, and he'd figure some way to get around you, or over you, or under you, whatever. He was pretty good at it. And I guess I imagine the old timer probably isn't there anymore, but the daughter, yeah, I'm guessing now she'd be 60, 70 years old. But a wonderful young lady back in the day. Anyway, enough said. I thought you might like that story. I tried to tell it before and it didn't quite come out right, so I wanted to try for take two. And this was take two. I'll see you now. God bless. And watch it on the fourth turn. Okay. Bye now.